Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Maggie Tai. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa go into Swaziland to help local conduct disaster relief works. A recycling volunteer who once thinks about giving up her life sees hope again after community Tzu Chi. Taiwan is rated #1 in the world for blood donation as doctors break some rumors for the donors. Tzu Chi volunteers in Durban, South Africa went to Swaziland to conduct relief assistance, giving out rice and Tzu Chi's red envelopes of blessings and wisdom. They met a 16-year-old boy with a deformed body and helped to bathe him. Local Tzu Chi volunteers are very willing to devote themselves to helping the community at the community center. On top of all, a volunteer from Malaysia also paved a road for the locals. Swaziland volunteers know that they're not alone.
This road to their community center has become smooth because of love.
When you look at the road, you'll know he has also laid some rocks so the car would sink in the mud and also slip around and out.
In the end of 2016, Tzu Chi volunteer Xu Chen Sun from Malaysia helped pave the road, which the local volunteers dubbed a Sawziland Bodhisattva path. When the volunteers go into a community, they walk there and sing with joy. When the residents know Xu Chen Sun is coming, they came out of their homes and welcome him with songs and dance. The volunteers sing and walk to Svetna's home and give the senior rice, the red envelope of blessing and wisdom, and also daily goods everyone bought for her.
Always when I'm visiting our patients.
The volunteers aren't rich, but we still donate some goods to her. She has problems with her feet, so unless someone helps her, she can't stand up by herself. Every morning, one volunteer will come here and bathe her.
Come every day in the morning and wash her.
The volunteers come across 16-year-old Simple, who can only crawl around with his 4 deformed limbs, but he welcomes the volunteers with a smile. Tzu Chi volunteers bless him and also bring him water to bathe him. Durban Tzu Chi volunteers cross the border to help Swaziland volunteers to be near the underprivileged, such as the women who cannot move and the young girls who are depressed. The volunteers want to lift them out of difficult situations and give them hope.
In an old community in Guangxi, Nanning, China, local houses mostly don't have elevators. An 83-year-old grandma's son climbs up and down the stairs to store recyclables. Since summer 2015, a recycling spot was set up in the community. This has led her to do recycling rain or shine every day, as her spirit has touched many people.
I leave the house at 6 a.m., sometimes around 5 a.m., sometimes 6. I do this every day. The landslide in the village has left a big hole in the wall. It's so miserable. We live in the city, it's more convenient and comfortable, so we should contribute a little more. I have 5 pins in my spine. If I pick more recyclables, I feel tired. If I pick just a little and take a rest, and then I don't feel tired.
We gave her all the recyclables we collected. She follows the path of people who help others and give to others who need assistance. In the beginning, I'm against it. Because of her health problems, she used to stay in the hospital often. However, we can't stop her from insisting on doing good deeds, so we can only support her. In the end, when we see her bringing recyclables back, we will help to collect it and put it there. In Changsha, China, the Kaifu district is promoting a number of different projects. One of them is the Blue Sky Dream project to promote community recycling. Tzu Chi volunteers were invited to teach how to store recyclables to local residents, as well as advocate the importance of environmental protection. Achieving dreams together is the theme of this project by Changsha Kaifu district, which aims to bring local residents together to realize 7 different dreams. During the launch ceremony, children's voice sent out the goal of having a blue sky. The Blue Sky Dream is related to community recycling as Tzu Chi volunteers were invited to participate, not just performing a sign language performance on stage, but also stands to promote recycling. The clothes and blanket made from recycled materials have greatly impressed everyone.
We give them recycling concepts and what we should do to clean the earth. We teach them how to do recycling during our interactions, and they like it as well.
You guys can educate the local residents how to do recycling and how can these recycled resources can be turned into something useful again. So it's very practical teaching.
Volunteers recycle plastic bottles right after the event and reuse the water in the bottle. Their physical efforts are the best demonstration to do recycling in daily life. Doing recycling not only saves the environment, but it can also save a person. Ye Guiying once thought about giving up her life because her business failed and she became a low-income family. Fortunately, since she started to volunteer with Tzu Chi, she has changed her mindset. She now dedicates herself to the recycling mission.
Early in the morning, Ye Guiying rides her electric motorcycle to Dali recycling station. Upon arriving at the recycling station, she immediately begins to sort recyclables, including plastic bags, paper, and bottles.
Coming here, I do not have frivolous thoughts. Being idle at home, I will have frivolous thoughts.
72-year-old Ye Guiying has once run a barber shop and invested in a restaurant, but her business failed. Therefore, her house was sold and she became a low-income family.
I thought I could not carry on anymore. I've worked hard since young. Nevertheless, similar to experiencing an earthquake, I suddenly lost all my financial incomes.
Ye Guiying, who has heart problem, therefore thought about giving up her life. In the past few years since she joined Tzu Chi, she has accumulated her positive energy.
She kept encouraging me to get back on my feet.
When she first came 4 years ago, her countenance was bad. I could feel that she had a lot of worries. A lot has changed in 4 years. Now, I think she has a pleasant countenance. The change was quite obvious.
After changing her mindset, Ye Guiying is able to embrace a new chapter of her life, dedicating herself to Tzu Chi's recycling mission.
Following up next is another life-changing story. 26-year-old Dae Jun Yan from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, was diagnosed with kidney disease at the age of 21. 3 years ago, his health condition worsened and he started to undergo dialysis. The huge medical bills caused his family to face financial problems. Thankfully, Tzu Chi started to subsidize part of the medical expenses to reduce his family's burden. With his family and the volunteers' encouragement and care, he has now become more open-minded as he sees every chance to help others in need.
Undergoing peritoneal dialysis 4 times a day, this is 26-year-old Dae Jun Yan's daily life after he was diagnosed with kidney disease 5 years ago.
I was wondering why I suffered from this illness as I was only 21 years old. It was a time that I was about to go out to work.
The impermanence of life not only changes his life, but also influences his inner heart. In addition to visiting the hospital, he has closed himself off to the world over the past 4 years.
His body swelled up. His appearance at that time was not what you see now. When he sat at the shop, many people stared at him. I asked him why they looked and stared at him like this. He was heartbroken as he thought he was useless.
Thankfully, Tzu Chi stepped in to subsidize part of the medical expenses for his dialysis treatment. The volunteers also visit him regularly to care for him.
After he realized that many other people live a more difficult life than he does, he started to become more open-minded. He may come to talk to us and even show smiles.
Now, on every month's recycling day, as long as his health condition is fine, he may go to the recycling points to do recycling.
If I have the ability, I will help other people in need. I don't think about negative things as I know there are still many people who need help. If we have the ability, we should go to help and contribute our share.
After changing his mindset, De Jinyan started to interact with people. His wish now is to find a job and serve the parents, making his life different and meaningful.
In Taiwan, Taoyuan Tzu Chi volunteers held the first stem cell registry drive of the year, inviting everyone to donate their blood and save the lives of leukemia patients. Although it rained heavily on the day of the event, volunteers were not affected by the rain as they went on the street to promote this event. A couple who came together to sign up for this activity also used the occasion to complete their engagement proposal. Let's share their joy there.
It's raining heavily in the morning. Volunteers wear raincoats holding up signs at the arcade, in front of the breakfast shop, or even at the intersection, inviting everyone to save lives of people in need.
Our purpose is to save the lives of leukemia patients. Today, we need only 10 cc of blood from each donor. We're inviting people to sign up for this activity.
This is the first stem cell registry drive in a year held by Taoyuan Tzu Chi volunteers, attended by many Tzu Chi families.
He feels very comfortable and happy coming here. I did not force him to come here. He filled out the information very early.
This couple, who have been in love with each other for a decade, have come together and decided their lifelong event here. One local resident and volunteers to provide cake, wishing the patients to have a second chance at life.
Mr. Zhao is the neighbor of the stem cell receiver, Mr. Yang. Having been inspired by Tzu Chi volunteers' care for many years, Mr. Zhao came to thank the stem cell donors.
In the morning, 100 samples of blood tests were collected. The stem cell receivers on the scene also expressed their gratitude.
It's incredible that someone whom I don't know insists on saving my life.
Do you want to be a blood donor? Taiwan's blood donation is rated #1 in the world, and what's more precious is that all of the blood is collected from voluntary unpaid donors. This data shows the compassionate heart of Taiwanese people. However, some unconfirmed articles on the internet say that blood donations can lead to weak blood vessels or addictions. Here we have doctor to dispel these rumors. Mr. Chu visits the blood donation center regularly. He donates platelets every 2 weeks.
I think it's not a bad thing to have this habit. It also makes me feel very comfortable.
To wait for the plasma separation procedure, it takes 1.5 hours every time, but he is happy to help others. He has conducted over 450 blood donations over 8 years. Some internet rumors say that blood donation can lead to fragile blood vessels and weight gain, but none of this is true.
It takes just half an hour to recover. This bruised area probably takes 1 or 2 weeks to disappear, but only this spot got a bit of bleeding. Other places are all normal.
Taiwan collects blood 100% from unpaid donors. The mindset of helping others encourages him to donate blood without asking for any reward. Nevertheless, some people misunderstand that blood donation can be addictive.
Addiction means through medications or certain behaviors, we generate a reliant and enjoyable feeling. There's no official thesis or research that proves blood donation can lead to addiction.
They have the heart to benefit others and the concept to help others. I think blood donation can be addictive about the concept of helping others.
In the past, we say a bag of blood can save one life. However, now a bag of blood can be separated into blood cells, platelets, and plasma.
15% of the people can't donate their blood. We need to protect the donor and only allow them to donate blood under the right physical condition for blood donations.
A bag of blood may save 3 people. According to different contents, the blood needs to be stored in different temperatures. The blood platelets needs to be continuously shaken to avoid solidification.
Blood donation actually will not affect any of your normal body functions because it's something your body produces every day. You won't have anemia or poor health just because you donated your blood, because you have new blood every day.
The criteria to be a blood donor is for maintaining the good quality of the blood, hence people who can donate their blood must be healthy people. Therefore, if you want to help others by becoming a blood donor, you should take care of your health first. When people have difficulties breathing, they might think they have some kind of heart problems. However, there is a condition known as hepatopulmonary syndrome, where there is a problem with the liver function. In such cases, patients could not process oxygenation properly and will suffer from low blood oxygen saturation.
80-some-year-old Mr. Chen is chasing after his grandchild. After taking a few steps, he becomes out of breath.
I have difficulty breathing. I lack strength and feel shortness of breath.
Many elderly people feel difficulty breathing because their heart functions have deteriorated. However, sometimes the problem is not with the heart function, but the liver. For instance, a 60-some-year-old woman who was sent to ER due to breath shortness was discovered to have blood oxygen saturation of 85%.
We checked the x-rays and CT scans. We could not find the cause of her low blood oxygen saturation. Then we discovered that she suffered from liver cirrhosis. Therefore, we thought she could have hepatopulmonary syndrome.
Her liver cirrhosis had led to dilation of the liver blood vessels, affecting her oxygenation. Therefore, her blood oxygen saturation has decreased.
The blood vessels dilated and branched off without oxygenation at the lungs. Therefore, she suffered from low blood oxygen saturation.
Since the woman could not properly process oxygenation in her lungs, she lacked oxygen. With the proper treatment of low-dosage oxygen, her difficulties in breathing have alleviated, and she can return to normal life.
In northern Jiangsu, China, Tzu Chi volunteers have been providing scholarships for female students in several impoverished rural areas for more than a decade. Besides financial aids, volunteers also give the students love and warmth by visiting them twice a year. They also teach them Jing Si aphorisms, hoping to plant seeds of goodness and wisdom in their hearts.
In April of Jiangsu Sihong, when there was a chill in the air, Tzu Chi volunteers visited Chen Hui. Her certificates in the house shows a good example for her siblings, which is even the pride of her uncle. Although Yang Xiaowei is hearing impaired, he never gives up learning. Volunteers have come to give him encouragement.
Although there are many unfair things in the world, we must learn to tolerate imperfections with love.
Tzu Chi volunteers visit scholarship recipients in different places of northern Jiangsu twice a year. Besides giving them scholarships, volunteers also teach them Jing Si aphorisms.
I've learned a lot from the teaching of Jing Si aphorisms. For example, I learned about unity. Because our class doesn't have good discipline, I'll try my best to teach my classmates about unity.
Jing Si aphorism is not merely a sentence, but it is something that can influence our life.
While the children have realized the meaning of life, the volunteers themselves have gained more than they can share.
The scholarship recipients grow up in our community who speak the same dialect as me. I'm also a mother, so I think if they can live a better life and if their future is full of hope, I'll feel very happy.
The Scholarship Assistance Program not only allows children to pursue education without worries, but it also fills the children's hearts with love and warmth.
Tzu Chi volunteers, Tzu Shaos, and Tzu Qings in the United States have been helping students from underprivileged family, low-income people, and homeless people through medical or financial assistance. Therefore, local communities and governments are highly supportive to show their gratitude. This year, Tzu Chi was invited again to attend an Asian Pacific Fair held by Asian Pacific Culture Association and Diamond Bar City government.
When Tzu Chi volunteers Tzu Shao and Tzu Qing show up in their uniforms, the crowds along the streets cheer at them. The Asian Pacific Fair begins with parades by every Asian group. It demonstrates the diversified cultural heritage in the United States.
Festival in Riverside, here supporting the Asian Pacific Cultural Association and the Tzu Chi Foundation Health Expo. So please come on out.
At the Tzu Chi booth, a volunteer is introducing to the public that Tzu Chi gathers donations from the public to help underprivileged people.
We're glad that we actually have a festival. We grew up with the Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, so we're very used to having all the cultural. But now here in California, these California girls, they don't really understand the Asian influence, so how?
You're doing in the community with the blankets, with the recycled bottles, your disaster relief efforts, and your help for low-income people. It's a beautiful thing that you're doing because you're bringing all of our communities together, and your service is what we need to make sure that we can all work together.
There are demonstrations in calligraphy, Chinese medicine, and flower arrangement at the Tzu Chi booth to inspire people's love.
Ms. Yang in Hsinchu, Taiwan, suffers from mental diseases, and the medication leaves her with little energy to clean her house. For the past 2 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have been offering to help her to clean, but she was unwilling and even got angered by the offer. After much communication, finally, volunteers brought Tzu Xiaos to learn a lesson outside the classroom. A chill morning with a bit of drizzling, Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu Xiaos wake up with passion to help others. Ms. Yang suffers from mental disease and her house is stuck with miscellaneous items and mold everywhere. Tzu Chi volunteers help her to clean by dividing jobs and moving items with a line from 3rd to 1st floor. Tzu Xiaos have many feelings for this lesson outside the classroom.
It looks fine outside, so we thought there are not many things in her house, but we were surprised that there are so many items.
In the future, if I see this kind of situation, I will just do it.
The communication before the clinic actually has never gone well, with Ms. Yang giving ambiguous replies.
Ms. Yang came out and started to yell at us. What can we two do? She yells at us. Are we supposed to yell back as well? We just stayed there and listened to her. We waited till she calmed down to talk to her slowly.
Helping Ms. Yang to have a clean and comfortable living environment, this is the happiest lesson for Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu Xiao. Tzu Chi Singapore chapter's 25th anniversary celebration is coming up, and more than 100 honorary board members share their stories of how the journey of goodness began. We will leave you with these images and thank you for joining us.